Onika, what effect has reconnecting with your religion had on your mental health?
I've always had a connection with my religion spiritually, but getting back into church has really changed a lot of things for me. I think it's just I have a different level of self-awareness, and I'm able to analyze and be more analytical with church and, see how it really is of benefit to my mental health. And it has been.
Dysh, dysh, dysh.
Hey y'all, it's Onika.
And JR.
And you are dishing with Dainty Dish. How you doing today, JR?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really great. Just coming from work, and we're coming up on Mental Illness Awareness Week, October 6th to the 12th. I'm going to be participating in a Bell fireside chat, which I'm really excited about. It's about an hour-long chat. It's going to be streamed over online, and I'm going to reach about 350 people. So I'm really, really excited about that opportunity.
Oh, cool. You're going to be interviewing some guests that week on the show as well.
Yes, I am. I have Mishak and Brian from Mindful MCs coming in that week to talk about all kinds of crazy for our Wednesday segment and their mental health journey, and just rap with us. It's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to. I'm not going to be a part of that one, but I'm going to be excited to hear it with everybody else. It's going to
be different doing it without you. It's going to be different doing it without you.
It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool for you.
I feel like I'm being thrown in the deep end.
Oh, that's cool. So what's on the agenda today? What's going on?
Well, I just wanted to start off. I know I had that you had that religion question for me in the beginning, so we definitely want to have a conversation about religion today, but I wanted to talk about some hot topics in mental health news right now.
Mental health and addiction then.
Mental health and addiction, of course. My apologies. Washington mom says school plans to put a desk in the bathroom for 11-year-old son with autism. Now, when I read this article, I was incensed by the ignorance. This happened in Billingham, Washington. Just the level of ignorance of the school board, that they thought that putting this and I saw the picture too, this kid is just in a bathroom, the desk is over a toilet, he has a mat to lay down on for naps, just the thought that they're thinking, oh, because he's autistic he needs a quiet space and this is a perfect quiet space for him, is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to look at the positive in this one, and can't find one. I mean, yeah, I can't.
You're stuck.
I'm stuck.
They claim that I never actually put him in there, and everything I read seems to say that they had the kind of space set up, they had intended to put him in there.
Oh, okay.
But they didn't actually. They're not claiming that they put him in this bathroom.
So we don't want to.
They had it set up for sure, but they're claiming, the school board's that's their stance, that we would never, we didn't put anyone in the bathroom.
They're we're just testing it out. It was testing it out. It was a proof of concept,
Yeah, just to see.
Yeah.
Green Party leaders are thinking about decriminalizing. This is one of their platforms for the 2019 election. Green Party is considering decriminalizing all illicit drugs. Now, when they're talking about decriminalization, they're talking about small possessions, like we talked about for the opioid crisis the other day when we had that conversation.
Yeah.
What Portugal did. Mm-hmm. So basically, they're suggesting to do the same thing here in Canada, where they're decriminalizing these illicit drugs, all illicit substances, in hopes of helping some relief for the opioid crisis. What's the logic behind that, though, for me? For you? What is the logic behind that?
What do you mean?
Do you think it would work?
Oh, they're not forming the government.
It's not happening.
I mean, what's cool about it, though, is that they're putting it out there. Mm-hmm. And, as the country, well, yeah, and if you look at history, the Liberal Party 30 years ago is not the Liberal Party of today.
No, not Justin right? with the good hair is Liberal Party.
No, yeah, okay, whatever you're calling it. There's a few grays. So if they're putting it out there right now, and this is a total, like, I think that would be a far left party as well, green, right? So, which means it may get, that idea might get more closer to the center, where the Liberal Party is. So, in 20 years, 30 years, that might be a reality here.
Yeah.
Because 30 years ago, they were the same. Those parties were the same ones that were saying we need to legalize marijuana. Right. So, I'm happy that it's happening. That there is a political party that has a platform and is putting this idea out there. And now we're going to have 10, 20, 30 years to kind of really just think about it and like develop it at like a grassroots level, because now there's going to be awareness of it. Right, so there's going to be people that are 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old that are just starting to formulate their opinions on their stance on the world. And when they become of voting age or our age, when they have the power, they might want this, and it might happen. And we'll be seniors by that time, and we'll be like, oh yeah, we agree, sure. Right? Yeah. So,
the Liberals aren't saying much right now. They're saying they're going to be putting $6 billion. Well, they're saying something. They're saying they're going to be putting $6 billion over the next 4 years into having people get their a family physician, mental health services, and their prescriptions. That's cool. That's what the Liberals are saying. The Conservatives, however, are saying, let's just give the money to each of the provinces and let them do with it what they will. So they're taking a more hands-off approach.
Actually, isn't that what now that you say it, isn't that what's supposed to happen? Because isn't healthcare but isn't healthcare supposed to be part of the provincial government's mandate? So wait a minute, why are the Liberals even talking about it?
I think that's interesting. That's something to talk about. I think it's just healthcare, education, hot topics.
But those are all provincial topics. That's all provincial topics.
And nothing's going to be done at the federal level. That's what I'm thinking. But
yeah, unless they're dealing. I don't know if universities are part of there, but who knows? Anyway,
who knows? Next up, Gucci model. Shout out to Aisha Tan Jones. This is a Gucci model who was at a show. I think it was last week. She wrote on her hands, "Mental health is not fashion," because the Gucci people were putting their models in straitjackets and ushering them down a conveyor belt like if they were factory meat.
I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Aisha Tan Jones prefers to be known as the pronoun they. So they were just appalled by this. Can you imagine? And Gucci was like, it was a journey from conformity to creativity. That's what the whole purpose of it was, and we're not really selling the straitjackets.
Some people.
Get it together, people.
This is too much.
Fashion industry, get it together.
Some people just are so not in touch. Well, no, you know what? Some people just, they don't care. It's not the target market.
No, they're just this is art, right? This is art imitating life. They're trying to say people when it comes to fashion, they have no identity when they have straitjacket type or I don't know olden day clothes. Is there really? So wait,
what's the? Wait, let me just get to this an understanding of this now that the shock value's worn off.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the problem?
The problem is putting models in straitjackets. Is I think it would just be adding more stigma to the whole issue of mental health and mental illness. A straitjacket is not denoted with positive experiences. It's a negative experience to be put in a straitjacket when you're in a mental institution, which doesn't happen in Canada. It actually only happens in the States. I've never been put in a straitjacket, but it's just a negative connotation to it.
But that's because you've been triggered by it. Because to me, it wouldn't even be a second thought. I'd be like, oh, they're doing some artistic shit, and I would.
Well, Aisha has experienced mental health issues in her past.
So I'm just saying it's triggering to that person. But now, objectively, to the overall population, is it triggering? Probably not.
No, I just think it's like,
because now we're talking about, are we in a state where we have to be so politically correct about every single thing? Because eventually we're not going to be able to do anything. Because as soon as someone's offended by something, you're going to have to stop.
I think we're already there. Like, I think honestly we're already there. I think it was in poor taste. I mean, the whole conveyor belt, factory meat, it was in poor taste. I feel like I saw the images.
How do you know it was factory meat? How do you know it was factory meat?
No, the quote that Aisha was saying was that like they were put on conveyor belts like factory meat. I don't know if she's vegetarian as well.
So that's a single person's opinion. Okay. I'm just trying to see. Was this like a Huffington Post article?
It is absolutely, 100%. Literally, it is HuffPost. You know, HuffPost has got that tea they like to spill. They got the juice.
Oh my god!
They got the juice. I thought I'd get one of those in there.
Yeah, okay.
I thought I'd get one of those in there.
Cool.
So moving right along, I'm not really happy with Doug Ford right now. I only discovered recently this issue. Doug Ford has said that people with mental illness that commit crimes should be in jail. He called a patient who had been detained in a mental health hospital for killing his roommate. He called him an animal. This gentleman, Zibin Kong, he killed his roommate in 2014 with a meat cleaver. And he was put in the forensic unit at Cam H, where on July 3rd he actually escaped, and he's now on the run. So I think that's where kind of his whole "they should be in jail" rhetoric is coming from.
His political base agrees with him. They might not say it out loud on any particular platform, but they say it with their votes.
Yeah, he called him a nutcase. Like, he uses his language.
Yeah, and that's the language
they like.
But that's the language that people use. Like, you're forgetting that. Like, you think that the conversations that sometimes we've had at family get-togethers, you think that if those conversations were recorded and played in public,
True.
would any of us have, could any of us have a political future? No, probably not, right? And everybody has those experiences in their family and their close-knit relationships where they say the things that they really truly feel, or how they really what they really might think. And although we're trying to change the minds of people, unfortunately, there's a lot of people that still think that way, and a lot of that is his political base, and he knows it. And he's saying what he believes needs to be said in order for him to maintain positive influence within his party and within his government.
Mm. Okay. Next up, we got a story on the Biebs.
Who's the Biebs?
Justin Bieber.
Oh!
Justin Bieber was in the news recently for a very lengthy Instagram post that he posted about his depression and his struggle with drug addiction.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
For real?
He said he made every bad decision he can think of before the age of 20 and was doing some serious illicit drugs at 19. So he talked about being a child star.
Of course, come on. No one's saying no.
Like, he's been around since he was 13. Like, no one's saying no to him.
No one's saying no to him. Everything is like that kind of power. Mm-hmm. Like, come
Bieber
on.
power? Bieber fever? No, one's saying no to
honestly,
Bieber fever.
I think he turned out quite well. No matter, I don't know much about him. I don't really follow him, but from what I've heard, he's considering that kind of power he had, or he still has. Except outside of committing felonies, he's invincible.
He's pretty all right. And I wonder, because I've read a couple of his Instagram posts, because this often comes up. He's been more and more talking about his issues, his mental health issues, and his drug abuse issues. He's been more and more talking about it in the news. And he often ends his I guess, rants or conversations with something inspirational about God. So for this one, he said, Jesus loves you. Be kind today, be bold today, and love people today, not by your standards, but by God's perfect, unfailing love. So could it be, and I think about me and religion as well, could it be that religion in something like psychosis, which I've experienced, is different than religion in recovery?
Are you asking me? Because I haven't experienced
You haven't
neither.
experienced. No, I would say for me, religion in psychosis was more like I thought I was the second coming of Christ. Like I was really deeply into the church at the time, and I was exhibiting, very strange behavior, a lot of religiosity, and
is that a word?
Religiosity is a word.
Okay.
Yes. We'll get to it. And I was thinking I could prey on people and save people, and so religion in my psychosis, and I felt very rejected by the church at the time too.
Yeah.
I felt really, really in my psychosis rejected by the church. The church that I was going to at the time, which was my mom's church. I was still living in Ajax. I hadn't kind of found my way into my own space. Mm-hmm. So I felt very judged, very ostracized. I remember one time they had an intervention for me because of my marijuana usage and also my mental health issues. They had an intervention for me where they were trying to lay hands on me and pray on me, and it just was uncomfortable. So I separated myself a lot from it. And then I found in my recovery, though, I wanted some kind of fellowship. I wanted some kind of connection. I grew up in the church. I've been going to church since I can't even remember how long. And I wanted that connectivity again. And that's what I felt more like when I was in my. I'm now sorry that I'm in my recovery.
Oh. Interesting. So you went back to the thing that comforted you as a child.
Yes, I did.
Can I say I told you so?
You can.
Okay.
Because I was all like, I'm spiritual, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. And I appreciate anyone who, is spiritual that is out there. But for me, it was admitting to myself that I didn't want to go to the church because I was doing bad things. Like I was judging myself based on their standards when I should have been developing a relationship with my God, whatever that looks like, the God of my understanding, which is what I'm doing now. I don't make it to church every single Sunday. I can't say that I'm a devout religious person. I mostly stream church online because my church is a little bit farther away from where I am. So the campus is far. So I stream online, which is a great feature of my congregation. So I don't know. I feel like... But would I want religion to be a part of my treatment?
I don't know. Would you?
There's been some talk by McLean Hospital, which is in Massachusetts, about integrating religion, spirituality, and mental health treatment.
Say that again?
They're trying to integrate religion, spirituality, and mental health treatment.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
So they have this thing called the Spirit Program. So they basically run groups, one-on-one counseling, as well as they provide you with techniques for prayer, meditation, and spiritual verses to be used in your recovery, in your mental health plan.
Okay.
I don't know if I agree with this or disagree with this. I'm kind of on the fence about this because I feel like one of the biggest problems with, and I think this is the controversy with church versus or religion, versus psychiatry, psychology, is one is science and one is doctrine, right? And can we mix successfully the science with specific doctrines from different religions? Like, are we asking our healthcare professionals too much? And at the same time, are we asking our clergy too much when it comes to dealing with mental health?
I don't know. I'm in none of those professions. I don't know. I think if you're in a public service, though, you should be able to deal with the public. And if we're saying the numbers that are that, like, what, 5, 10, 20% of people have a mental health condition?
1 in 5.
1 in 5, 20%? Mm-hmm. Okay. 20% of people, well, if you're in the public service, you need to serve 20% of a population. You still need to service them. Like, you still wear clothes, right? Mm-hmm. Right. So, like, retailers can't discriminate and say we don't want to sell to anyone that's bipolar or has a mental health condition. They're losing 20% of their customer base. So,
are you talking about religion or psychiatry?
I'm just talking about psychiatry. Mm-hmm. The mental, if you have just 20%. So I'm just saying, if you're in the public service, psychiatry and public service, actually both of them, religion, both of them are in the public service. You're going to have to deal with people in all conditions. So, especially in the clergy, you help the sick, right?
Well, here's the thing about that. And this, again, I'm going to go with my own personal experience, going back to what I said earlier.
Cool.
I find when I'm in something like mania, or I'm deeply in my illness, I'm more ostracized by the church. I'm more told, you're not praying hard enough. Your faith isn't strong enough. You need to have more prayer in your life, have more faith, and these are the things. You do these couple of things, and God will heal you and save you and rescue you. So they try to pray the cray away, is what I like to say. I've said it several times before.
Okay, but you're taking a past experience with a specific church, maybe denomination. I don't know. I don't know if I can speak on that at that high level, but there are many churches out there, and that's why people leave churches and try and find one that fits their needs. Mm-hmm. So if the one that you were at the time, or you were going to, if their goal or the process that they took in dealing with someone with mental health a condition is to tell them they're not praying hard enough, well, then that's not the church for you.
No,
but if you find a church that says, hey, you're going through something right now, and like the church you found that said, you know what, if you're feeling low and you in your state and you don't want to leave the house, well, you know what, make an effort at Sunday at this time, live stream this and be a part of this community, right? Like, I think that's a better situation. So, I mean, it all depends. It's all subjective.
And that's what I appreciate about the church that I'm with right now. The sermon that I listened to on Sunday, the pastor did mention depression, anxiety, and social anxiety. He made mention of it, but it was still in the context of more like, if you have this, like, you should pray. Like, I was kind of disappointed in the sermon, because when I heard these buzz terms, obviously, like, my ears perked up, and I'm like, okay, what's he going to say next about this topic? And it also reminds me of the recent passing of Pastor Jared Wilson. He was a pastor in California, 30 years old, died by suicide it was the 10th of September, which actually is Suicide Awareness Day, ironically. And he basically said that Jesus can't cure depression or suicidal thoughts or anxiety or PTSD, but he can give compassion and comfort. And post this incident happening, the lead pastor of his church said he should have turned to God for help. Like, so it's still the messaging, you know what I mean?
Okay. Well, I mean, those are, you're finding two examples. I mean, I know myself, when you find in certain neighborhoods, there are still to this day, there are pastors that are, and priests and whoever, that are known in the community for yes, this is what the doctrine says, but this is our community, and we need to be respectful and kind to everyone in our community and be welcoming to everyone in our community. And there's still success with those groups. Unfortunately, just like everything in life, you have to put an effort in to find it. There's gonna be some pastor who's growing up, their sister had a mental health issue, or their mom did, or they had an experience like a roommate or something, so they have a little bit more, for lack of better words, hands-on experience with this, and they incorporate that into what they say, and into how and their lives and how they act. I mean, my experience with you has led to me being, actually, this experience on this podcast has led to me being a lot more compassionate. And it's just because we've been put in this position, or we've put ourselves in this position. So, I mean, it all depends on the situation that you want to put yourself in. So I guess you have to just look.
Yeah, I feel like a separation of the two is kind of necessary. I don't know how much you could incorporate spirituality. Like, it's working for the McLean's Hospital, I know, but I don't know. Like, some people say they would like their physician or their psychiatrist to pray with them, or to even bring up religion, because it's not usually brought up in sessions. It's not something that's discussed. It's kind of a taboo topic. So there are people that say they want more of that in their mental health treatment. But I'm more of the feeling that I would like the two to be separate.
It's whatever works for the individual, I guess.
Yeah, mainly because, when I go for spiritual guidance or, religious guidance, I have my pastor for that, I have my fellowship for that, as opposed to the medical side of things when I need, medical help. I'm not going to, be in, for instance, again, psychosis and go to my pastor and expect him to help me through my psychosis. That's what my psychiatrist is for. That's what my social worker is for. I think everyone kind of plays a role, and I know that mental health is becoming, I don't want to say sexy, but it's becoming like this hot topic amongst people, and it's also growing in the church as well. And they're trying their very best to address it, and I appreciate that. But directing people to professional help, really, I feel like it's the only, praying with them, yes, but directing them to professional help is...
Yeah, I guess.
But there has been studies that have shown being religious or having religiosity, which is a strong belief in religion, belief and feeling in religion, it helps your mental health.
Can it be a positive or a negative feeling towards religion?
No, it's a positive.
I know.
It's a positive. It's positive. I'm like, no, not really. Yeah, it says that people who suffer from depression and anxiety, and things like PTSD are when they become a part of a church community, they have material support, moral support, social supports, different supports in their network when they become a part of a congregation or a worship session. But there's both the private and the public. So privately, you could do devotionals. I do devotionals with my mom every morning. You could pray, meditate, and then publicly is kind of like the congregation stuff. But there's a very controversial statement that I found online when I was doing my research that I wanted to bring up to you.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's from a professor at Stanford University who's a self-proclaimed atheist, Robert Sapolsky. He argues that religious rituals are a form of exhibiting obsessive-compulsive disorder, and that religious people are on the spectrum of mental illness. And this is not the first person in the history of this that has said this. Freud actually called it religious neuroses.
Say that again.
So he said He argues that religious rituals are a form of exhibiting obsessive-compulsive disorder, and that religious people are on the spectrum of mental illness. Like, he for real said that.
Okay. I mean, he said it. It doesn't mean it has to be true. I mean, but it could be. You never know. It might not be. You never know.
People experiencing like extreme religiosity says they're on the spectrum of mental illness.
I mean, it could be true. I mean, maybe that's, you're supposed to cheat on your religion. Like, maybe that's what he's saying.
Cheat on your religion?
Yeah, like, you know, like, I don't know, drinking a little bit if you're like a devout Christian, or I don't know. I can't think of anything else. Some shellfish if you're Jewish or something. You know,
some premarital sex, and pig if you're a Christian.
Pig if you're what?
Pig. We don't eat pig.
Who doesn't eat
Christians.
pig? Oh,
they're not supposed to eat pork.
They don't eat pork?
They're not supposed to. They do.
I don't know.
I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, but I just found that statement to be interesting, because I could see how one might think that. Mm-hmm. Because like, I'll give my mom for an example. Hi, Mom. Love you. I'm not saying you're crazy. I'm just saying, like, every Tuesday is Bible study.
Yeah.
And then every Saturday is you got to go and clean the church. Then Sunday is church all day. And then, like, rinse, repeat. And then plus on top of that, the devotional she does every day. Like, she's really into her religion and into her Christianity. And, you know, the repetitiveness of it all, especially the going to church every Sunday, giving tithe, which is 10% of your income, your earnings, like, she's really deeply into that stuff. So I could see how an atheist would think, like, because an atheist, they don't believe, they just don't believe, right? So I could see how looking at an atheist versus looking at a devout Christian could be seen as,
you see, that's true. I guess, but you know, I started looking at the whole tithes thing as like a membership fee. Like, you get like Sundays, you get Wednesday prayer night, you know, you get but Wednesday Bible study, you get the service on Sunday,
got prayer circle,
you know, you get all these little things that you get house visits. Like, this, you're paying to be a part of a community. So I mean, is it really that bad?
I don't know, it's in the Bible that you have to pay tithes.
I mean, hey, yeah, I read that part. It's pretty cool.
It's in the Bible.
Yeah, it's a good book.
I've been reading it.
Yeah, have you?
I'm on Genesis. I'm only on the first chapter. Like halfway through Genesis, and then I'm almost done Proverbs.
Oh my gosh.
Which was a really interesting read.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I want to go back against what I was saying earlier about religion and my experience with religion and psychosis versus religion and recovery. Mm-hmm. Now that I'm in my recovery and I'm getting in touch with my religion, I realize that the person that I used to be, you know, mentally, wasn't necessarily ready to receive whatever message that I'm now receiving from religion. I wasn't ready to hear it. You know, I wasn't ready to deal with it. I was so against the church because of my bad experiences with the church and the feeling of rejection that I didn't realize that there was so, as you said, JR, it's different strokes for different folks, right? So there's so many other options out there. And even if what they say I may not agree with, I'm of sound mind and body that I can make those decisions for my own now.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty, I think, of having a relationship with whatever God of your understanding that you have a relationship with. It's making sure that you connect with him him or her on a personal level. You connect with them on a personal level, and you know, hold on to that religiosity, hold on to that spirituality, because it could be what's going to save your life. You never know. With that said, I'm going to shoot it over to JR so he could tell you how you can reach me if you have any questions about religion or spirituality or mental health related to me specifically, because I don't know everything. I'm still a baby Christian, as my mom would like to say. Baby Christian. So, yeah, JR, please tell them how they can reach me.
Yeah, for sure. You can reach Onika at Dysh, DYSH, at daintydysh.com. That's DAINTYDYSH.com. Thank you so much for listening. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts,
give us a 5. If you're
listening to us on any other platform, YouTube, SoundCloud, your favorite podcasting listening platform, thank you so much for listening to us. We truly appreciate it. And if you have any words of wisdom, or if you want to give us any information on like religion and mental health, or any of your thoughts, really do send them in. We'd love to like chat about them, read them, chat about them. All
right. Well, that has been the dish of the day, and I hope y'all have yourselves a very, very, very happy hump day.